I'm trying to run my electrical wires through the wall as much as possible. This is going to get packed out and plastered over. But sometimes we're going to have to run electrical cables under the floor. So this footing right here, all my footings are exactly this height, and this signifies subfloor. Finished floor is going to be 4 inches above subfloor, and that's just going to be a continuous concrete pour throughout the entire house. So this is UF-rated Romex, and it's buriable. So it can be buried in the dirt, but it cannot be sealed in concrete. So as you can see here, it is below the subfloor level, which means that I'm going to fill all this up with dirt, and this will be buried in dirt. However, the transition point where the wires come up out of the floor and into the wall, the concrete pour is going to hit that. Finished floor is going to be about right here. So in order to isolate the cables from the concrete, I'm just using pipe insulation. You can see here, I think this is like 3/4 inch pipe insulation, just some scrap that I had laying around. About most Romex I can get in there is about 3 of them, so I'm taking bundles of 3 and sliding this open and just sliding the cable right into the insulation. Right about there is where we want it. Finished floor is going to come to about here, and that's going to protect this cable from the concrete. Next step is to wrap it in some tape, because there is a slit here, as you can see, and it's possible concrete could get in there. So I'm just using some PVC tape. You saw me use this in the cistern insulation video. Same stuff. And I'm just using this because it's really sticky and really malleable to secure this insulation around the electrical wire. I'm wrapping it pretty tight, and I'm just going up like this. And there you have it. Now that I have all the wiring on the walls and through the ceiling and through the floor all done to their respective switch boxes and outlet receptacle boxes, now I am taking all the home runs from those circuits that come up into the breaker box, and I'm running them up along the wall into, through my cabinet here and into the breaker box. I'm using these the same like 3/8 to 1/2 inch Romex connectors that I used when describing how to wire up the boxes, and they're getting put right in here on the bottom, on these holes that I'm punching out in the bottom of the breaker box. And the reason I'm using small ones, even though I have so many wires to deal with, I have about 20 wires to run into these boxes. The reason I'm using the small ones is because you can only run 2 wires into a single punch out in the breaker box, regardless of how large the hole is. So why use bigger hardware, more expensive Romex connectors when you can only run 2 in there anyway? So I'm just using the small ones, and I'm running 2 at a time. So here I am stripping my cable. So I've done AC1 and AC2 circuits. I have all my circuits labeled. It's very important to keep all your circuits labeled, because once you have a whole bunch of wires at your home run, if you don't have them labeled, you have no idea where they go. So I have them labeled here right on the ends of the cables. For example, this one's AC4. And I also have AC4 marked on all my receptacle boxes and light switches. Well, actually, I have no AC light switches here. It's all DC. But wherever I have a box, I have it labeled what circuit that is. So now on my home run, I'm transferring these marks into a more permanent state. So I'm measuring out how long the run is going to be into the breaker box here, and I can see I'm going to cut my Romex off here. So I'm transferring this label down here. So I see the label up inside the box on the Romex, and then I also see the label down below on the Romex. Very important. So yeah, now I'm just getting a basic measurement of where I need to start stripping, making that mark, and then I just strip the cable out that entire distance, because you need all these bare wires running into your box so you can wire them to the circuit breakers, the neutral bus bar, and the ground bus bar. I'm just going to take this bundle and slide it up inside, like this. AC3 and AC4 on top, AC3 and AC4 on the bottom. Now I'm going to tighten down the Romex connector. And the last step is to hammer in a staple within 4 inches of the Romex connector to the wall. And that is code.